Hi, this is David Ansel, and today in this videocast, I want to talk to you about an important aspect of our spiritual life and how I and my family accomplish that, and that is the need to take an annual retreat. And if you have a family like I do, it's the need to have a family retreat. Now, I know that just working for a living and being a father, it's really easy to get really busy, and in the midst of all that busyness, we can basically just let the time pass by and just really wonder where it went and not really take the time to think about what we're doing, just be in kind of a survival mode and just continue on with the routine and not really take the time to really center myself on God for a good period of time, or even just to really reflect on, are we doing what God wants, and to let God speak to us. And so it's really important to take that time to take a retreat at least once a year where we have an intense focused time on God, and definitely something where there's at least some time that you get to spend in silence before God so that He can speak. But this can be pretty challenging if you have a family like I do and have young children, because taking a whole weekend away is really difficult, if not impossible. And also, there's no way we can just bring the family with little kids to sit there and listen to talks because, well, the little kids just aren't going to sit still. But there are some things we can do to help try to get away and try to at least spend some time in silence before God in an away place. Because Jesus did tell His apostles to come away to a quiet place and rest a while, and I'm sure He was talking to us too. So, the way my family and I have tried to make our annual retreat, or really I'd like to try to go twice a year even if I can, is to go to a place of pilgrimage. And the place we go is the Shrine of the Most Blessed Sacrament at Our Lady of the Angels Monastery in this rural town of Huntsville, Alabama. Now, this monastery is run by the Poor Clares of Perpetual Adoration. And if any of you are familiar with the Catholic television network EWTN and the work of Mother Angelica and her nuns, this is where they live, and Mother Angelica does live there. From what I understand, their house used to be right near the TV station, and at some point they realized, hey, we're cloistered nuns, we really don't need to be in the middle of all this, and so we need to get away. And so they built this monastery out in the country, and I believe it was completed in 1999. And it really is a nice, beautiful place, and it is a place of perpetual adoration of the Blessed Sacrament, although it's not open all night to visitors. And from what I understand, I don't really see them, because you don't really see these sisters. They're cloistered nuns. But I understand that they take turns before the Blessed Sacrament, and at the beginning of every hour, you can hear their beginning prayer that they say out loud. And it's actually very beautiful. Now, I have some pictures of this place, some video of this place, really. And as you go in there, there's a really big courtyard. It's very pretty, and it really helps to give the impression that, hey, I'm going into a sacred place. This is just a very holy place that I'm about to enter. It's a really big courtyard, and in it there's a statue of the child Jesus. So when you finally get across there, you go over to the church, and this is really a big, majestic, beautiful church. In fact, knowing that this was completed at the end of the 90s, this really is a testimony to the fact that it is still possible to build beautiful churches today, because we're in an era, and hopefully we're mostly past that, but I've seen even some recent churches that were built that were really very ugly, or at least there wasn't any real beauty in them that really shows by their beauty that God is beauty. This church is beautiful. And I can't really show you the inside because this is also a very silent place. They really expect you to maintain silence. They don't allow people to take pictures or videos, so you're going to have to deal with outside pictures. But I really want to show you right here on the steps is a very special place to my wife and I, because this is actually where I proposed to my wife. Now inside there are actually two churches. The upper church, where there's a monstrance at the very top of a high altar that is exposed except during Mass. And they do have Mass there daily, and they have confessions available daily as well. Downstairs there's another church where the Blessed Sacrament is just reserved in a tabernacle, and that's actually the crypt where all the deceased sisters are buried. Now across the courtyard from the church is a castle. It has some kind of visitor kind of things, but most importantly, it has a gift shop, and this gift shop is a great place to find Orthodox Catholic books. There's a lot of other resources, but if you're like me and you're bringing small kids, be very careful. There's a lot of delicate statues, and they would expect you to pay for it if you broke one of them, so you need to walk with care, because there is a lot of stuff in a relatively small space as well. But if you're looking for some things to read, or some good statues or art, or even some CDs and DVDs, they have a lot of stuff there. Now, this obviously is not a place where you go for a preached retreat, or at least we don't, but here's what we can do. First of all, there are some nice guest houses around the area, even though there are a couple of hotels there, but the guest houses are really nice, and they have like a living room space and a place to cook and everything, and they don't really cost a whole lot of money, cheaper than some hotels that I've stayed in. And so they're also nearer to the shrine than the hotels, so they make a very nice place to stay, and we've stayed in a couple of them and have really enjoyed them. Last time we stayed in St. Benedict's cabin in the lower floor guest room. I think it's called the St. Vincent's guest room, and we were pretty happy with it. We try to bring the kids in for a little while. I want them to be in adoration as much as possible, to really help instill a longing for the Eucharist in them, and to really realize this is something you need to do on a regular basis as adoration. But of course we can't keep them in there long. They just really won't sit still, and the upper church actually is very echoey, and so the noise just echoes everywhere. So we just try to give them a few minutes, and then what we need to do is just take turns, and each of us try to at least spend an hour or two. You know, it's not as much time as you'd get trying to go to a full retreat, but at least it gives us some time to be silent before God, to pray before Him, and to adore Him in the Holy Eucharist. Well, the other person just has the kids. You can even take them around the grounds, because they're actually very nice. So this gives us some time to really reflect and be silent before God. It's really a pilgrimage. You can take the whole family to pray, find some good Orthodox Catholic resources. And those are the kind of things we need to do in our spiritual life, and just really take that time and make it a priority, not just something that we do if we have time, but one of the things we really need to do at least once a year. If you're interested, I'll show you the web page address, and if you're interested in any further materials from me, you can go to my website at www.davidansel.com. You can find my blog, you can find my podcast, and hopefully I'll even be able to get on occasion some video casts up. These are a little harder to do, so there may not be as many of them, but at least I'll try to have some up for you. I'd like to thank you for watching, and may God bless you.